Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered why things down there don't seem the same as they used to be? Why your confidence, once so natural, has started to fade, even though you're eating healthy, exercising, and trying to do everything right? Why the part of your body that once made you feel like a man now seems smaller, weaker, or less responsive, even though your doctor says you're perfectly fine? It's scary, isn't it? The quiet realization that something is changing, something you can't explain or stop. What if I told you that one of the fruits you've always believed to be healthy, something you may have eaten your whole life thinking it was doing good for your body, could actually be making this problem worse? Silently shrinking your most sensitive organ every single day without you noticing? What if that fruit, sitting proudly in your kitchen right now, is part of the reason why thousands of men over 60 are losing their strength, their performance, and even their size, not because of age itself, but because of what they've been told is healthy? Today, you're going to discover the truth, a hidden cause that science already understands, but that almost no one talks about. Because once you uncover what's really happening inside your body, you'll finally see that this change isn't just about aging. It's about something you can control starting today. But be warned, if you keep eating this fruit without understanding what it does, the damage may continue quietly until it's too late. So listen carefully, because in a few minutes you'll know exactly what's happening, what to avoid, and how to start reversing it. And before we dive in, comment below and tell me which city you're watching from, because this warning is something every man over 60 deserves to hear, no matter where he lives. Now, let's talk about what's really going on inside your body as you age, because understanding this is the first step to taking your power back. Most men believe their manhood starts to shrink or weaken simply because they're getting older. But the truth is that aging alone doesn't cause this problem. What actually happens is that certain natural processes in your body begin to change after the age of 60. Blood flow slows down, testosterone levels drop, and tissues lose elasticity. But what most people don't know is that these changes are made dramatically worse by what you eat every day, even if those foods seem healthy. Some fruits that are praised for being good for your heart or digestion can actually have the opposite effect when it comes to your sexual health. They can interfere with hormones, affect circulation in the smallest blood vessels, and even trigger hidden inflammation that directly affects the tissue of the penis. When this happens over months or years, the result is not only a loss of firmness or sensitivity, it's a real, physical shrinking that can make you feel like you've lost part of yourself. And because it happens so gradually, most men don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. The scary part is that this process doesn't hurt. There's no pain, no warning sign that tells you, hey, something's wrong. It's slow and quiet, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Every time you eat this so-called healthy fruit, you think you're doing your body a favor. You feel proud of making the right choices, avoiding junk food, eating more natural things. But inside your body, that fruit can trigger a subtle chain reaction that affects one of the most delicate systems a man has, the network of tiny blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to the penile tissue. These vessels are extremely small, much thinner than the ones that feed your heart or muscles. That means they're the first to suffer when something causes inflammation or restricts blood flow. Imagine a garden hose that gets squeezed just a little. Water still comes out, but less and less each day. Over time, the grass starts to dry up. That's exactly what's happening inside your body. And the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to bring that tissue back to full health. You might think, but wait, I eat fruit because my doctor said it's good for my heart. And you're right, most fruits are healthy, rich in vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants. The problem isn't fruit itself. It's one specific type that behaves differently in men over 60. This fruit contains certain natural compounds that your younger body could easily handle, but that now, with slower metabolism and hormonal shifts, start to act almost like a toxin. They raise your blood sugar faster, stress your arteries, and trick your body into producing more of a hormone called insulin. When insulin levels stay high for too long, your testosterone levels drop, your blood vessels stiffen, and the delicate tissue that gives your penis its shape and firmness begins to thin. It's not your imagination, it's biology. You're not losing size because of bad luck or old age. You're losing it because the foods that once helped you are now silently working against you. Think about how many times you've been told to eat this fruit. It's in smoothies, salads, breakfast bowls. It's easy to grab, easy to digest, and often considered a quick, healthy snack. You've probably eaten it hundreds of times without a second thought, but every time you do, you're giving your body a spike of something it no longer knows how to handle properly. And because men's hormones after 60 are already fighting to stay balanced, that extra spike can be the final push that leads to decreased blood flow and shrinking tissue. It's not an overnight change. It's the result of years of repetition. You don't notice it until one day you realize your energy is lower. Your drive has faded, and your confidence isn't what it used to be. You might even feel embarrassed or frustrated, wondering if it's all in your head, but it's not. It's chemical. It's happening in your blood, your vessels, your tissues, and it can be changed. There's something else most people don't realize. The body's ability to produce nitric oxide, a natural molecule that helps relax blood vessels and improve circulation, decreases significantly with age. Nitric oxide is essential for a healthy erection, but it's also necessary to keep tissues nourished and oxygenated. When nitric oxide drops, your blood vessels lose flexibility. The fruit we're talking about doesn't help that. It makes it worse. It pushes your body into producing more sugar, which reduces nitric oxide production even more, creating a vicious cycle. As circulation weakens, your penile tissue gets less oxygen and starts to atrophy. That's the real cause of the shrinking that so many men over 60 experience but never talk about. They think it's just nature's way of aging, but it's not. It's a nutritional and hormonal imbalance driven by what's on your plate. Now here's where it gets interesting. Scientists have discovered that even small daily habits can dramatically change this situation. They've found that men who adjust their diet slightly, removing certain triggers and adding specific nutrients, can restore blood flow, improve elasticity, and even reverse tissue loss over time. It's not magic. It's how your body naturally heals once you stop giving it the wrong signals. And the best part is that it doesn't require drugs or surgery. It only requires awareness and small, consistent changes. But before we get there, you need to understand exactly why this fruit, which is often recommended as part of a balanced diet, becomes harmful after a certain age. You see, this particular fruit has a high glycemic index, meaning it releases sugar quickly into your bloodstream. When you're younger, your body can handle that sugar spike easily, because your metabolism and hormones are still sharp. But after 60, your cells become less sensitive to insulin. That means the sugar stays in your blood longer, causing inflammation in your arteries and reducing their flexibility. In the short term, it might not feel like a big deal. You might just feel a little tired after eating it, but inside your body, your vessels are narrowing, and your testosterone is dropping. Both of those things together cause the tissue in your penis to lose volume and strength. That's why some men say it looks smaller or feels weaker. It's not an illusion. It's a physical change that begins inside your blood vessels. Many men make the mistake of thinking that the problem starts with their genitals. They buy pills, creams, or supplements that promise miracles, but they never work for long because the real issue isn't down there. It's in your blood flow and hormone balance. If your vessels can't expand properly, no amount of external solution will fix it. It's like trying to inflate a balloon with a clogged tube. That's why identifying this hidden food trigger is so important, because when you remove it, your body can finally start healing again. Your blood becomes more fluid, your circulation improves, and your tissues begin to recover. It's a slow process, but it's real and lasting. The story doesn't end there, though. There's another layer to this puzzle, one that almost no one talks about. This same fruit also contains a compound that interferes with the absorption of magnesium, a mineral that your blood vessels need to relax properly. When your body doesn't have enough magnesium, your arteries stay slightly constricted all the time. That means less blood reaches the tissue that needs it most. And when blood flow is restricted, your body prioritizes vital organs like your heart and brain, leaving less for other areas. Over the years, this imbalance leads to weaker, thinner tissue in the penis. So while you think you're eating something good, you're actually setting off a reaction that slowly robs your body of one of its most essential minerals for male health. Imagine spending your whole life doing what you were told was right, eating fruit, exercising, staying active, only to find out that one of those fruits was quietly working against you. It's not your fault. The food industry pushes this idea that what's healthy is the same for everyone, regardless of age, gender, or hormone balance. But men over 60 have unique needs. Your body processes nutrients differently. your metabolism slows, and your sensitivity to sugar increases dramatically. What worked at 40 might now be harmful. And unless someone explains that, you're left wondering why your health is declining even though you're doing everything right. Now, before revealing exactly which fruit it is, there's something you should know about how your body defends itself. When sugar levels rise, your body produces insulin to push that sugar into cells for energy. But if this keeps happening too often, your cells stop responding well. That's called insulin resistance, and it's one of the hidden causes of both erectile dysfunction and penile shrinkage. Because when insulin is high, your testosterone drops. And when testosterone drops, your blood vessels lose tone. It's a perfect storm. The fruit in question causes frequent insulin spikes, especially in older men whose cells are already resistant. That's why it's so dangerous. It's not about how much you eat, but how your body reacts to it now. You may be thinking this is exaggerated, but clinical studies have shown that even mild insulin resistance can lead to reduced nitric oxide levels and poor vascular function in men over 60. This means that your body literally loses the ability to deliver oxygen where it's needed most. So when you eat something that raises your insulin again and again, you're cutting off your body's most powerful natural erection mechanism. You're also weakening the very tissue that keeps your manhood alive. It's no wonder so many men today feel older than they really are. The good news is that once you understand what's happening, you can stop it. You can actually help your body recover its balance naturally by making small but powerful changes to your diet. But to do that, you first have to identify and remove the main trigger, the fruit that's silently contributing to the problem. It's something most men eat daily, especially in the morning, thinking it's a great way to start the day. But for men over 60, that habit may be doing more harm than good. And soon, you'll know exactly what it is, why it causes so much damage, and what simple, natural foods can replace it to restore your vitality and protect your most important organ for years to come. Now that you understand how one small change in your diet can quietly influence your blood flow, hormones, and confidence, it's time to go deeper into the hidden science of what's really going on. Because the truth is, the human body doesn't just change overnight. These transformations are the result of small daily habits, repeated for years, that slowly push your system out of balance. And the fruit we're talking about plays a much bigger role than you might think. At first glance, it looks harmless, bright, sweet, and full of nutrients. Doctors often recommend it for heart health, and many nutritionists call it a perfect snack. Yet, when you look closely at how it interacts with the male body after 60, the story changes dramatically. What used to nourish you in your youth may now be fueling the exact process that's reducing your vitality and strength. To understand why, you have to think of your body like a fine-tuned machine. When you were younger, your metabolism ran fast, your arteries were flexible, and your testosterone levels helped keep your muscles, energy, and even your confidence at their peak. But with time, that machinery starts to slow down. Your hormones shift, your cells become less efficient at using sugar for energy, and your arteries begin to lose elasticity. This means your body no longer processes certain foods the same way it once did. When you were 30, you could eat a banana after a workout and feel great. But at 60, that same banana triggers a completely different chain reaction inside you. Here's what happens. The natural sugars in that banana, mainly glucose and fructose, rush into your bloodstream quickly. Your body reacts by releasing insulin, a hormone meant to keep your blood sugar in check. But at your age, your cells have become less responsive to insulin's message. It's like a conversation where your cells stop listening, and insulin has to shout louder and louder to be heard. The louder it shouts, the worse things get. High insulin levels block your body's ability to produce testosterone efficiently, and low testosterone reduces nitric oxide, the chemical that keeps your blood vessels open and healthy. This combination quietly restricts circulation to the smallest vessels, including those responsible for maintaining the structure and function of your penis. That's why what seems like a harmless fruit snack can actually be pushing your body into a downward spiral of lower blood flow, weaker tissue, and gradual shrinking. But the story doesn't stop there. That same banana is loaded with fructose, a type of sugar that behaves differently from glucose. Unlike glucose, which every cell in your body can use for energy, fructose is processed almost entirely by your liver. When your liver gets too much fructose, especially from repeated daily servings, it converts it into fat. Some of that fat stays in your liver, leading to a condition called fatty liver disease, which is far more common than most people realize. But what's worse is that this new fat interferes with your liver's ability to regulate hormones properly. That's when testosterone begins to decline even faster. The fat around your abdomen increases, estrogen levels rise, and before you know it, the balance between male and female hormones starts to shift. You might notice your belly growing softer, your energy dropping, and your sexual drive fading. Many men accept this as part of aging, but it's not. It's the result of a cascade that begins with a healthy fruit eaten too often. Scientists now know that when the liver becomes overworked with fructose, it also releases inflammatory molecules into your bloodstream. These molecules damage the lining of your arteries, including the delicate vessels that feed oxygen to your genitals. They make the walls of those vessels stiffer, less responsive, and less capable of expanding when you need them to. Over time, the tissues that depend on that blood flow begin to thin out, just like a muscle that hasn't been exercised. That's why some men notice that not only their firmness, but even their size seems to decrease. It's not imagination. It's physiology. Your body is literally receiving less blood, less oxygen, and fewer nutrients where it needs them most. And if you think this is rare, think again. Studies have found that the average man over 60 who eats a banana every morning or adds it to smoothies or breakfast cereal ends up consuming more sugar than he realizes. That daily sugar surge is enough to keep insulin high all day, preventing fat from burning and testosterone from rising. So while your diet may look healthy on paper, fruit, oats, yogurt, it might actually be one of the reasons you feel older and weaker than you should. But why is this fruit specifically so problematic compared to others? The answer lies in how your body reacts to the ratio of sugar to fiber. Bananas, especially when ripe, have a high sugar-to-fiber ratio, meaning that most of their sweetness hits your bloodstream quickly without being slowed down. Contrast that with berries, which have much more fiber and far less sugar, and you'll see the difference immediately. The banana spikes your blood sugar and insulin, while the berries don't. This is why one fruit helps your circulation, while the other harms it. Yet, because bananas are everywhere, cheap and easy to eat, most men never question their effects. They just assume that natural equals healthy, when in reality, the way your body processes natural sugar changes drastically with age. Now, let's talk about another effect of this fruit that most men never consider: how it impacts mineral balance. Bananas are often praised for their potassium content, which is important for heart health. But what many don't know is that potassium and magnesium need to stay in balance to keep your muscles and blood vessels working properly. When you eat bananas too often, your body increases potassium levels without a matching rise in magnesium. That imbalance can make your arteries contract slightly, reducing blood flow even more. Magnesium is essential for helping your blood vessels relax, and without enough of it, your circulation becomes restricted. Over time, this chronic constriction limits oxygen delivery to your tissues, including those that define your manhood. That's not the only mineral interaction going wrong. High fructose intake from fruits like bananas also lowers zinc levels in your body, and zinc is one of the key nutrients for testosterone production. Without enough zinc, your body struggles to maintain healthy testosterone, and your ability to build and repair tissue declines. It's a slow erosion of your masculine strength that starts with what you put on your plate. Each banana might seem small, but day after day, it's adding up. You might be wondering, if bananas are so bad, why haven't doctors said anything? The answer is that nutrition advice is often generalized. What's good for the heart at 40 isn't necessarily good for hormonal balance at 65. Most dietary recommendations are made for the average person, not specifically for aging men whose hormonal systems are already shifting. And while a banana might not harm a young athlete, it can quietly undermine the health of someone whose insulin and testosterone are already fragile. That's why it's not about labeling food as good or bad. It's about understanding how it affects you personally at your stage of life. But there's more to it than hormones and blood flow. The psychological side of this issue is equally powerful. When men start noticing these changes, reduced firmness, less size, lower confidence, they often feel shame or confusion. They don't talk about it because it's embarrassing. They think it's a sign of weakness or failure. But that silence only makes things worse, because the longer you believe it's just aging, the longer this silent process continues unchecked. It's not just about physical change. It's about how you see yourself as a man. When your body doesn't respond the way it used to, it affects your energy, your motivation, and even your relationships. You withdraw, not realizing that the cause could be something as simple as changing what you eat for breakfast. And here's where the body shows its resilience. The moment you reduce foods that spike your insulin, like bananas, and replace them with lower sugar fruits or high antioxidant foods, your body starts to heal. Your insulin levels stabilize, your nitric oxide rises, your blood vessels begin to relax again, and blood flow improves. The tissue that was thinning starts to receive oxygen and nutrients again, which can gradually restore firmness and confidence. It's not about avoiding fruit altogether. It's about avoiding the ones that no longer serve you at this stage of life. Some men have noticed that after just a few weeks of cutting out bananas and focusing on lower glycemic fruits like berries, cherries, or apples, they feel lighter, more energetic, and even experience noticeable changes in their performance. That's not coincidence. That's biology responding to balance. When you stop feeding the cycle of high insulin and low testosterone, your body finds its rhythm again. You sleep better, wake up stronger, and feel a sense of vitality that you thought was gone for good. Still, the banana's impact goes beyond hormones. It also affects how your nerves function. The excess sugar can damage the delicate nerve endings responsible for sensitivity and pleasure. Over time, this reduces sensation and feedback, which can make intimacy less satisfying. This nerve damage, called neuropathy, is often associated with diabetes, but it can begin much earlier in men with repeated sugar spikes, even those who aren't diabetic. That's why many men over 60 experience reduced sensitivity long before they notice other symptoms. It's a subtle warning sign that your body is trying to give you. And if all this sounds overwhelming, remember this: none of it is permanent. Your body is constantly repairing itself, replacing old cells with new ones, and responding to the signals you send it. Every time you eat, you're either feeding the problem or the solution. Once you stop giving your body the wrong message, it begins to recover naturally. That's why knowing the truth about this healthy fruit matters, because once you see it clearly, you can take control again. Now that you know the biological and chemical chain reaction triggered by bananas, the picture becomes clear. The shrinking you've noticed isn't random. It's a direct reflection of how well your blood is circulating and how balanced your hormones are. Bananas, though rich in potassium and fiber, carry too much natural sugar for the slower metabolism of a man over 60. They drive insulin too high, block testosterone, reduce nitric oxide, and deprive the body of key minerals needed for circulation. They don't just fail to help you, they actively contribute to the very problem most men want to avoid. But here's the hopeful twist. When you remove the banana from your diet and replace it with foods that support blood flow and hormonal balance, your body starts responding almost immediately. The pressure in your arteries improves, oxygen delivery increases, and the cells in your penile tissue begin to function better again. Over time, this can translate into firmer, fuller, and healthier performance. So, while everyone else might still believe that bananas are the symbol of health, you now know the deeper truth, that your body's relationship with food changes with age, and that wisdom, not repetition, is what keeps you strong. The key is not just avoiding the banana, but understanding why it affects you this way, so you can make smarter choices every day that rebuild your energy and restore your confidence. Because the real goal isn't just to protect what you have, it's to reclaim what's been lost. And that begins by understanding how to repair the very foundation of your circulation, starting with what you put on your plate each morning. Soon, you'll learn which simple natural habits can boost your blood flow, raise your testosterone naturally, and even help your tissue recover its vitality. The solution is simpler than you think, and it starts the moment you stop feeding the silent thief of your strength. Now that you understand the silent role that bananas and other fast sugar fruits play in weakening circulation and lowering testosterone, it's time to explore how to rebuild what's been lost. Because the great news is that the male body, even after 60, can still regenerate, strengthen, and restore itself when given the right conditions. You're not broken, and you're not past the point of no return. The blood vessels that feed your most intimate organ are living tissue, capable of healing and expanding again, once inflammation, sugar spikes, and hormonal imbalance are brought back under control. The key is to reverse the same chain of reactions that the banana and other high-sugar foods have been triggering for years. By feeding your body the right signals instead of the wrong ones, you can restart that internal machinery that supports energy, confidence, and vitality, naturally, safely, and without needing extreme measures. So, let's start with the foundation, circulation. Every part of male health depends on good blood flow. When your blood moves freely, it delivers oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your body, including your reproductive organs. When it slows down, you feel it, not just in your energy levels, but in your performance and confidence. The fastest way to repair your circulation is by supporting nitric oxide production, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and keeps them open. Certain foods boost nitric oxide naturally, like beets, spinach, arugula, and pomegranate. These foods are rich in nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, restoring flexibility and strength to your arteries. Unlike bananas, which spike your sugar and tighten your vessels, these foods calm your system and improve the way blood moves through your smallest capillaries. Many men notice that after a few weeks of adding more greens and removing sugary fruits, their hands and feet feel warmer, their energy increases, and their morning vitality returns. That's not imagination. It's better blood flow in action. But nitric oxide alone isn't enough. You also need to protect the lining of your blood vessels from the damage caused by inflammation and insulin spikes. The simplest way to do this is to eat foods rich in antioxidants and polyphenols, compounds that act like internal shields against free radicals. Blueberries, cherries, and blackberries are perfect examples. They're low in sugar, high in fiber, and loaded with antioxidants that reduce inflammation in your arteries. When your vessels stay relaxed and clean, blood can move freely, and the tissues that depend on that circulation can recover their natural tone and shape. Over time, that consistent blood flow helps restore firmness and size, because the tissue can finally receive the oxygen and nutrients it's been missing. The second step is restoring hormonal balance. After 60, most men experience a slow but steady drop in testosterone, and that's normal. But when insulin is high from sugary fruits and refined carbs, that natural decline becomes much faster. The goal isn't just to boost testosterone artificially, it's to remove the obstacles that block your body from producing it on its own. That means eating more healthy fats and proteins while cutting back on excess sugars. Foods like eggs, olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish like salmon provide the raw materials your body needs to make hormones. They stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support the glands that produce testosterone. When your diet shifts from high sugar to nutrient-dense foods, your testosterone levels can rise naturally, your energy improves, and your body begins to respond the way it used to. The third piece of the puzzle is mineral restoration. As mentioned earlier, high-sugar fruits can deplete essential minerals like magnesium and zinc, both of which are critical for male performance. Magnesium helps your blood vessels stay relaxed, supports nitric oxide production, and improves sleep, which is when testosterone is mostly produced. Zinc, on the other hand, is directly involved in testosterone synthesis and tissue repair. You can replenish these minerals easily through food. Pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, and oysters are excellent sources. Many men who start including these in their diet report improvements in mood, sleep, and even strength within weeks. That's because their hormones and circulation finally have the support they need to function at full capacity again. Now, none of these steps would matter if you don't address the root of the problem: chronic inflammation caused by the wrong foods. Inflammation is like rust. It slowly corrodes your tissues, hardens your arteries, and blocks the signals that keep your body functioning smoothly. The best way to fight this is through consistency. Avoiding sugary fruits like bananas is one part, but you should also cut down on processed carbs, sweetened drinks, and foods high in trans fats. Replace them with whole, real foods that your body recognizes. A plate filled with leafy greens, colorful vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats not only nourishes you, but tells your body it's time to heal. When your meals stabilize your blood sugar instead of spiking it, inflammation drops, and blood flow improves naturally. At this point, your body begins to change from the inside out. Your energy starts to return because your cells are finally receiving oxygen again. Your mood improves because your hormones are balancing out. And your confidence grows as your performance and firmness start to feel more natural again. It's a process that takes weeks, not years, but every day you make the right choices, you move closer to restoring the vitality that once came effortlessly. You start waking up with energy, sleeping better, and feeling sharper. These are the signs that your body is working with you again, not against you. And let's not forget the importance of hydration and movement. Drinking enough water is essential for blood volume and circulation. Dehydration makes your blood thicker and harder to move, while proper hydration keeps everything flowing smoothly. Gentle exercise, like walking, stretching, or light resistance training, also stimulates nitric oxide and improves blood vessel health. You don't need to run marathons. Just moving your body regularly helps your arteries stay flexible and responsive. Even a daily walk can make a big difference in how your body feels and performs. Now, if you've been wondering whether the damage from years of eating the wrong fruit can really be reversed, the answer is yes, if you act now. The body is remarkably adaptive. As soon as you stop feeding it what causes harm, it starts repairing. Within days of removing bananas from your routine, your insulin levels begin to drop. Within weeks, your nitric oxide starts to rise. Within a few months, the improvements in circulation can become noticeable, not just in your energy, but in the firmness and size of your erections. That's because the tissue is finally getting the blood and nutrients it's been deprived of. This isn't about miracles. It's about giving your body the right environment to heal itself. One of the simplest daily routines you can start today is this. When you wake up, drink a glass of water with a squeeze of lemon to support liver function and hydration. For breakfast, replace your banana with a small handful of berries or half an apple. Add some eggs or a few nuts for protein and healthy fat. This combination stabilizes your blood sugar, provides steady energy, and keeps your hormones balanced throughout the morning. For lunch and dinner, include plenty of green vegetables, a source of protein like fish or chicken, and olive oil for healthy fat. Avoid sweetened drinks and desserts. If you need something sweet, go for fruit with low sugar content. Every time you make that choice, you're sending your body the message to heal instead of harm. As your blood sugar stabilizes, you'll also notice mental clarity improving. That's because the same blood flow that affects your lower body also affects your brain. Better circulation means better focus, sharper memory, and more motivation. It's all connected. The same network of arteries that feeds your mind feeds your manhood. When one improves, so does the other. That's why these small changes bring benefits that go far beyond the physical. They improve your entire quality of life. Now, it's important to remember that not all fruits are harmful. It's about choosing the right ones for your age and metabolism. Fruits like berries, kiwi, and grapefruit are rich in antioxidants, but low in sugar. They protect your arteries instead of harming them. Even apples and pears, eaten in moderation, can be good options because their fiber slows down sugar absorption. The key is to keep your blood sugar steady, your insulin low, and your circulation strong. That's what keeps your tissues healthy and your confidence alive. You may have noticed that every part of this process leads back to one central truth. Your body responds to balance. Too much sugar, too little movement, too much stress. It all adds up. But when you restore balance, everything starts working again. Your heart, your mind, and yes, your manhood all respond to that harmony. Aging doesn't mean losing your strength. It means learning how to work with your body's new rhythm. The quiet shrinking that men fear most isn't an inevitable part of getting older. It's a symptom of imbalance, a warning sign from your body asking for attention. When you stop feeding that imbalance, the damage stops. When you start nourishing yourself the right way, the healing begins. The banana isn't evil, it's just no longer right for your body's needs. Once you understand that, you gain control again. You stop being a victim of aging and become the architect of your vitality. So from now on, every time you walk past the fruit bowl and see a banana, remember what it represents. A habit that might have served you once but no longer does. And every time you choose a handful of berries or a slice of apple instead, you're choosing blood flow, energy, and confidence. You're choosing to protect your strength and your identity as a man. It's incredible how something so simple can make such a difference, but that's the beauty of the human body. It rewards awareness. The moment you stop treating your body as if it were still 25 and start giving it what it truly needs now, everything changes. The shrinking stops, the strength returns, the confidence rebuilds, not because of magic, but because you've aligned your choices with your biology. To summarize everything clearly, the healthy fruit that can silently shrink your penis as you age is the banana. It's not harmful to everyone, but for men over 60, the natural sugars and hormonal effects can quietly damage circulation and lower testosterone. The solution is simple. Replace it with low-sugar, high antioxidant fruits like berries, balance your meals with protein and healthy fats, stay hydrated, and move your body daily. Support nitric oxide with leafy greens and magnesium-rich foods. Within weeks, you'll notice your energy rising and your body responding in ways you may have thought were gone forever. Because in the end, the real secret isn't avoiding a single fruit. It's understanding your body, respecting how it changes, and giving it what it truly needs to thrive. You don't need to fear aging. You just need to stop feeding the habits that accelerate it. And when you do, you'll see that the strength, size, and vitality you thought were lost are still within reach, waiting for you to claim them again. That's the power of knowledge. That's the reward of awareness. And that's the truth that every man over 60 deserves to know.